Today, I'm going to talk about the way of expressing your experiences to the teachers and the way of reporting during interviews as described by Panditarama Sayagyi. We are practicing Vipassana Satipatthana meditation, and we are being told to note every arising objects in our mind and body, beginning from the main object, that is rising and falling movement of the abdomen. We are told if we have some thoughts, note it as thinking. If there is pain, note it as pain, pain. During walking meditation also, we are told to focus on leg movement, noting left, right, lifting, placing, lifting, moving, placing, and so on. So we are just doing rising, falling, thinking, imagining, lifting, moving, placing. What we are supposed to know, supposed to see, noting those objects. Because we are told to note rising and falling movement of the abdomen, we just try to keep our mind there and follow that movement in the abdomen. But what we supposed to see there in the abdomen, what we supposed to see during walking meditation when we do left, right, or when we do lifting, moving, or placing. Vipassana meditation. The objects of Vipassana meditation is nama and rupa, that is the mentality and physicality, mind and matter. So whatever mentality and physicality occurring at the very moment, we should pay attention to that object, and we should observe it very attentively, very closely, so that we come to see, we come to know what is that object. So we observe whatever mentality and materiality occurring at the very moment. And here, observing or noting, it has two parts. Look on that object and see that object. We look on that mentality and materiality occurring at the present moment. And when we see it attentively and closely, when we look on that mentality and materiality occurring on that present moment. And when we look on it very carefully, very closely, attentively, then we come to see it clearly. So observing means looking and seeing. When we look on it, we will see that. It means if we do not look on that object, then we will not see that object. So here, looking that object, looking means not a casual looking, not a careless looking. We have to look it carefully. We have to look it very attentively, very closely, and very precisely. Only then we come to see that object very clearly. So whatever objects occurring in the present moment, we look it carefully and we see it clearly. What we come to see when we look that object carefully and closely, what we come to see, we come to see or we come to know the very true nature of that object. We come to see the ultimate reality. So here we are told to note the rising and falling movement of the abdomen. That is the primary object, main object. Of course, there are many objects occurring in our body and mind. But at the beginning, we cannot observe all of them. Therefore, Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw instructed us to start observing objects from the rising and falling movement of the abdomen, which is very easy to discern and which is occurring on the abdomen all the time. We can see it easily, we can observe it easily. So, how to observe this main object, the rising and falling movement of the abdomen? We pay attention, we try to keep our mind, we direct our mind to the abdomen, and as soon as an abdomen starts to move, we should follow it closely. As soon as it starts to move, slowly it rises and it comes to end. So we have to follow that rising movement from the very beginning till the end. The whole process of rising, we should be able to follow. The falling movement too, as soon as the abdomen starts to fall down, we should follow it till the end, the whole process of falling movement. So if we can follow it from the very beginning till the end closely, then we come to know what is that rising movement, what is that falling movement. At the beginning, when our mindfulness is not very strong yet, the concentration is not good yet, we might see that just the movement or just the shape or form of the abdomen, nothing else, just the form of the abdomen. But it doesn't matter. We just need to keep on observing that movement of the abdomen, and slowly the mindfulness and concentration becomes stronger and stronger. We come to see the manner of rising and falling movement, how it rises, how it falls down, whether it rises for the long period or short period, whether the abdomen is inflated or deflated. We come to see those manners. It is still good, but seeing the form or the manner of rising and falling movement is not a wisdom. But it is still good because we come to see the form, we come to see the manner of this rising and falling movement because our attention is on the abdomen, our mind is on the abdomen. The mind is not wandering here and there. The mind is not thinking or imagining. Therefore, it is still good. But we should not be satisfied with this. We just need to observe this movement of rising and falling, the rising and falling movement continuously, and we will develop mindfulness and concentration stronger and stronger. So we come to see the very true nature of that movement. When we note rising, we might experience that, oh, there is tightness, there is stiffness, there is some vibrations, there is some pushing or pulling force. When we note falling movement, we might feel relaxation. Sometimes we might feel contraction. So these are the true natures that we have to experience when noting the primary object, the rising and falling movement. This is just the example. If we pay more attention on that object, we come to see, we come to experience more other natures on that rising and falling movement. So when we have a wandering mind or thinking, we observe it very carefully, wandering, or thinking, we note it. And we come to know what's happened to this wandering mind, what happens to this thinking mind, whether the wandering and thinking continues or it stopped. We come to know about that. When we have some painful sensations in the body, we note it as pain. But when our mind is really focused on that painful sensation, we come to see the different natures of that painful sensation. When we say, oh, it is painful, so the word pain is just a general word. But when we are very attentive, noting these painful sensations, we come to know the specific nature of this painful sensation. And we must know that. And also we come to experience how these painful sensations changing all the time, how its intensity changes, whether the painful sensation, it decreases or increases, or just a constantly, just a constant, or whether it disappears. We come to see this. So it means we are experiencing, we are seeing the correct things. We are seeing what we should see. Therefore, whatever objects we are noting in sitting meditation or in walking meditation, we should try our best to experience or to see the very true nature of that object. In walking meditation, we are walking as a left, right, left, right. We are doing walking meditation not to relax. We are doing walking meditation to know the sensations, the true natures occurring in the legs. In the lifting process, as soon as the heel starts to lift, as soon as the heel moves, we have to follow from that very moment, lifting, lifting, lifting till the end. Moving as soon as the leg starts to move, we focus on it, noting moving, moving, and dropping too. As soon as the leg falls down, drops down, we have to follow it very closely until you press on the ground. So the whole process of lifting, moving, and placing must be observed very precisely, very attentively. And then only we come to see the true natures occurring on that very moment of lifting, moving, and placing. So all those natures are called sabhava, the individual sabhava lakhana, individual characteristics. Every physicality and mentality have their own nature, own individual nature, unique nature. We are doing Vipassana meditation to see those unique natures of mind and matter. Only through Vipassana practice we can see, we can experience those unique natures of mind and matter. Not through samatha practice, only through Vipassana practice. The Buddha said that there is only nama and rupa, nothing else. There is only mentality and materiality. That's what the Buddha said. We have heard this in many Dhamma discourses, many Dhamma talks. Now we are here to know it through our own knowledge, through our own experience. So to know those very true natures of mind and matter, we have to be mindful all the time. We have to be mindful every second, every moment. Then only we can experience, we can see those unique natures of mind and matter. And then we come to know who we are. So the unique natures in the Vipassana practice that we can experience very easily is the four great elements. Though there is many materiality, but the most easiest to experience is the four great elements. The earth element, water element, fire element, and air element. Earth element has the nature of hardness, softness, smoothness, roughness. Sometimes we feel very hard, like a rock. But sometimes we feel, oh, so soft, like a cotton. That is the nature of earth element. Sometimes we feel like a water flowing in the body, sometimes like a sweating, the fluidity. It is the nature of water element. Sometimes we feel very hot, sometimes burning, sometimes very cold, sometimes just warm, and sometimes very light. It is the nature of fire element or temperature element. And sometimes we feel tension, tightness. Sometimes we feel some pushing or pulling force. That is the nature of air element. The mind also has its own nature. Sometimes we feel that our mind is inclining towards the object. The mind is inclining towards the object. That is the true nature of mind or consciousness. The true nature of consciousness, inclining towards the object sometimes we experience. So those are the true characteristics, the individual characteristics that every mentality and materiality possess. And through Vipassana practice, we have to experience, we have to see those true unique characteristics of mentality and materiality. When we see these unique characteristics of mind and matter, and we keep on practicing, we come to see the momentary characteristics of this mind and matter. The momentary characteristics means how this mind and matter begins. We come to see the beginning of this mind and matter. We come to see the middle part, and we also come to see the end part of this mind and matter. The beginning, the middle, and the end of this physical and mental phenomena. This is the momentary characteristics. We are told to follow, we are told to observe the objects from the very beginning till the end. Here, sometimes some yogis are mistaken. When the yogis are told to observe from the very beginning till the end, some yogis try to find out the beginning. Some yogis try to find out the beginning, the middle, and the end part of that object. For example, when the yogi is told to observe the rising movement of the abdomen from the very beginning till the end, then he is trying to find the beginning part, the middle part, and the end part. But this is not the correct way. Although the yogis are told to observe the rising movement of the abdomen from the very beginning till the end, he just need to try his best to follow from the beginning till the end. He just need to try to follow the movement, not to look for the beginning, the middle, and the end part. This beginning, middle, and end, which is the momentary characteristic, we will not see it unless we see the unique characteristics of mind and matter. Therefore, we just need to focus the movement, the rising and falling movement of the abdomen. We just keep on following it. When mindfulness and concentration developed enough, then we come to see the unique natures, its true natures, and we also come to see the beginning, middle, and end. But still, this three period, the beginning, the middle, and the end, among the three period of the object, first, we only see the middle part. We cannot see the beginning. We cannot see the end part. We only can see the middle part of that object. When mindfulness concentration becomes more stronger than before, and then slowly we come to see the beginning also. We see the beginning and the middle part, but not yet the end part. And again, when we keep on observing the objects, then we come to see the end part also. The beginning, middle, and end part. We will be able to note as soon as the abdomen rises. We will be able to follow from that very moment, and we come to see how it ends. So seeing the beginning, the middle, and the end part of that rising movement is seeing the momentary characteristics. The momentary characteristics is apparent now. Again, when we keep on practicing, keep on observing those objects, we come to see the disappearance of the objects. The objects, it occurs and immediately it disappears. So we come to see the appearance and disappearance of objects means now we see the impermanent nature of that object. so too we come to see the unsatisfactoriness and non-self nature of those objects. So seeing the impermanent unsatisfactoriness and non-self nature of the objects means now we see the universal characteristics of mind and matter. This impermanent unsatisfactoriness and non-self, these three, all mind and matter have this nature. So this is universal characteristics. Only if the momentary characteristic is apparent, then the universal characteristic we can experience, we can see it. So that is vipassana. The Pali word vipassana, it is the compound of two words, vi and passana. Vi means in various ways. Passana means seeing. Seeing in various ways. Seeing the mind and matter in various ways. So here, the various ways means in the way of impermanent, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self. We come to see all mind and matter are impermanent, unsatisfactory and non-self. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. That is the vipassana knowledge. So we are doing vipassana practice in order to experience, in order to know, in order to see the very true characteristics of the mind and matters, the momentary characteristic of mind and matter, and the universal characteristics of mind and matter. And to see those characteristics, we have to observe whatever objects occurring in the present moment with careful attention. We have to observe them very closely, very carefully, very mindfully. Then only we will come to experience those three types of characteristics. Now, when you go for interview, when you go for reporting about your practice, how should you report? Oh, I observe rising and falling movement of the abdomen. Then my mind wanders. And again, I note rising and falling of the abdomen. I note the pain. If you just say that much, that is not enough. You have to report in detail. What you really experience, you just have to report. If you don't experience much, if you don't experience anything, or if you don't experience much, that doesn't matter also. Because at the beginning, our mindfulness is not very strong. And we forget to note many things. We forget to note many, many things. At that time, sometimes we don't experience much. That doesn't matter. But you have to say, you have to express honestly. If you can note, you have to say, I can note. If you can't note, then you have to say, I can't note. I can't observe. The honesty is very important. But when you really experience something, noting the rising and falling movement of the abdomen, noting the pain, or in walking meditation, then you really have to express in detail. What did you come to see when you note rising and falling movement of the abdomen? When you note wandering mind, what happens to that wandering mind? The mind continues to wander, or the wandering stops? If the wandering stopped, you came back to note the main object, or another wandering occurs. If another wandering occurs, what did you do? You have to say. If you have a painful sensations, what type of pain is that? How did you note it? How it changed? How it changes? So everything you have to report. Yeah? When you practice very precisely, surely you will experience something. And what you experience, then you have to express during interview time. In walking meditation also, you have 1 hour walking period. So roughly you can divide that 1 hour into 3 parts, 20 minutes. The first 20 minutes, you try to do left and right, just one noting in each step, right, left, right, left. And the second 20 minutes, now you can slow down. You have to slow down, because you are going to note lifting and dropping, 2 notings in each step. Lifting, dropping, lifting, dropping. But you have to do it with slowly. As much as your body allows you, you try to slow down. And the last 20 minutes, you do the third type of walking, lifting, moving, and dropping. Now this one you have to do more slowly, because 3 notings in one step. You have to be very mindful. If you are not mindful, you may fall down also. So lifting, moving, and placing, you have to do very slowly, very mindfully. Then you really comes to experience the true ultimate natures of that lifting, moving, and placing. Just doing lifting, moving, placing, lifting, moving, placing, it is not a fruitful, it is not a useful, like a robot. It is not a useful. Yeah, you have to do it slowly, very mindfully, focus on it. At the meantime, if your mind wanders, immediately you bring back your attention to that lifting, moving, and placing movement. You don't need to not wandering while you are doing walking meditation. Of course, during sitting meditation, if your mind wanders, if you are imagining something, if you are thinking something, and you realize it, you have to note it immediately. Wandering, thinking, imagining. But during walking meditation, you do not need to note thinking, wandering, or imagining. If you really want to note thinking, wandering, then you have to stop walking. You should stop walking, you stand there and note thinking, wandering, imagining. But while you are walking, while you are lifting, moving, and placing, then you don't need to note this wandering, thinking purposely. You're just aware of it. Just aware of it and immediately back to the lifting, moving, and dropping movement. And when you observe it very closely, you will experience something. So when you come for the interview, the most important thing during walking meditation you have to report is about lifting, moving, and placing. That is the most important. And you are doing so many sitting meditations, so many hours. You are doing sitting, so many hours. You are doing walking. So you have only 10 minutes for interview, 10 minutes to report your experience. Sometimes you cannot cover everything. You cannot cover every sitting, every walking experiences. Therefore, you can select your experiences. The most good sitting, the most good walking, you can select. You can report about the very good sitting, good walking. And after reporting that, if you still have something special from other sittings, other walkings, then you can add. You can report that too. You don't need to repeat the same experience in that interview time. But if today you experience the one thing, and that experience again the next day you have, and when you come for next interview, you don't have nothing new thing to report, the same experience, but you have to say that. You have to report. If you don't have nothing new, but again, you have to report when you come for the next interview. It shows that how much effort you are putting in the practice. Not experiencing the new things, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is how much effort you are putting in the practice. So that way you can report your experience in effective way. And whenever you come for the report, you try not to forget to report the main points. The special experiences, don't forget that. And when you come for the interview, you start reporting from the primary object, reporting about the primary object, the main object. The main object is very, very important. So when you don't have wandering mind, when there is no pain, you are staying with the main object of rising and falling movement of the abdomen. So in sitting meditation, most of the time, you are observing the main object. Those painful sensations, it occurs sometimes only after 15 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes only after half an hour. So before that, what will you be doing? You will be observing the main object. So try to observe this main object of rising and falling movement of the abdomen more carefully, more attentively. You will become able to observe other objects, other sensations very easily. So that's all for today. May you all be able to practice very diligently, meticulously, and precisely to experience the very true natures of mentality and physicality.